I want to now turn your attention and start talking about Thursday, July 5th of 2018. About what time do you remember getting up that morning?
It had to been somewhere around maybe 8:30 to 9 o'clock. I don't really remember the exact time.
What were your plans that day?
My plans were go ahead and take care of animals, and then I was going to go and get my hair cut and then meet my buddy Ted at the PGA store.
Did y'all, a day or so before or sometime get a connection with somebody at the PGA store?
Yes, I believe it was the weekend prior to all this that we played golf with some friends at the Manor Golf Club, and one of the guys we played with, he works for TaylorMade, and he works out of the PGA store down in Roswell, and he was going to go and have me get into a simulator to get, fitted for clubs my size, because I'm a tall guy, so I have to have extended clubs.
So where were you actually going? Where was the store at you're going to drive to?
It's down off of Holcomb Bridge, off of 400 in Roswell.
Who's going to go with you?
Ted was.
And what's Ted's full name?
I'm sorry, I have a hard time actually pronouncing his real name. It's Theodophilus is his real name, but we call him Ted.
Okay, what's his last name?
Pierce.
How long have you known Ted?
Going up on close to 10 years.
Good friend?
Yes.
Know anyone else in his family?
His entire family, his mother and sister.
And how close are you today?
I've actually known his sister Randy a lot longer, over 10 years now, and I met Ted and their mother pretty much the same time, and they're Alabama fans, and we always watch football together, and they're like my second family.
And did you have their numbers in your phone?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what you labeled his mom's number as?
I believe it's Mom Pierce.
And were they involved with you at the lake and things like that?
Yes, sir.
When you got up, at some point that morning, did you leave to go to the PGA store? Did you get in your truck and take off down the driveway?
Yeah, so after I got done taking care of all the animals and everything was situated for the day, I got in my truck to start heading out, and I happened to notice that my youngest sister, Amanda, her vehicle was over there, so I decided to pull up over there to say hi to her.
Yeah. Did you see her or just her vehicle?
I didn't see her at first until I pulled up into the house driveway, and I saw her sitting with Melody on the front porch.
This is Thrasher 2. When you say front porch, is this what you're talking about?
Yes, right there where the front door is.
Oh, yeah, I should turn the TV back on. There we go. All right, on Thrasher 2 here, this area where the hand is, where were they sitting? Did you just have chairs or something, or?
Well, you see the window right there? Yes, right there.
Right here?
Yes, there's a rocking chair right there, and they were both sitting in that area.
When you saw them, what did you do?
I got out of my truck and walked up to them.
When you walked up, did you notice what they were doing?
And it looked like they're sitting there talking.
What were their demeanors like?
At first glance, before talking to them, I mean, it seemed normal.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
No, I did not see anything.
When you walked up, what were you planning on doing? Just saying hi, or?
Yeah, just said, hi to my sister. I think I haven't seen her since my dad's birthday party.
Was she there to pick up Cameron?
That I didn't know. I didn't know the kids were there.
When you walked up, did you start talking to them?
Yes, I did.
What y'all talking about?
The very first thing I was asked is, have you seen your father?
Who asked you that?
I want to say it was Melody.
Did you think anything about that at the moment?
I mean, when she asked me that, I was like, well, no. And then she said, well, we can't find him. I go, what do you mean you can't find him? They're like, well, he's not in the house. And I looked and I said, well, his Mercedes is right there in the garage. The RTV is parked right there in the driveway. He's got to be here.
Where was the RTV parked? Do you remember?
It was parked, I know there's like a little parking spot right here where the concrete is.
Before you get to the garage?
Yes. So if you're pulling up to the house, it would have just been right there to the right.
Just kind of a pull in, is that what it
Yes.
is? His car's at the house, RTV's there. Why'd you think that was odd if all that was there?
Well, I mean, if they're saying that he's not in the house, there's only going to be two things he's going to either be on or be in, and that was on the RTV or he's gone in his car.
Would your dad just kind of disappear? Was that something normal would happen?
No.
Did he take many business trips or anything?
Not really. I mean, he, would always let me know if he was going to be, going somewhere with clients, or if he was definitely going to be gone like overnight, he would have said something to somebody.
When was the last time you had seen your dad?
At Cherokee Ranch on the 3rd.
Once your mom asked that question, did she ask anything else or do anything else?
There was a lot of questions. Once from there, we tried to figure out where he could have possibly gone.
Did you ask her about the CPAP?
Eventually, yes, I did ask. I was like, well, have you checked to see if a CPAP machine is here?
What'd she say to that?
And she said, no, I haven't checked.
Did you ask what all people have, where they went to check for him, or how long they've been looking for him, or anything like that?
If I asked them that,
Yeah.
I really don't remember.
Was there any indication about how long, if she asked, have you seen your father, was there any indication that they had been looking for him, or how long he'd been missing or anything?
Well, to me, it seemed like they were, at some point trying to look for him, because they told me, we can't find your father.
What time of day would this have been when you're up there with him, this started?
Roughly, I'll probably say around 10 o'clock in the morning.
What'd y'all do after that? Was there more conversation, or what happened?
Yeah, we sat there and, try to figure out where he possibly could be. I know one of them asked if I saw him up at the barn. I was like, no, I was just up there. I didn't see him. And I said, the RTV's here. He's not going to walk up to the barn. He's going to drive that. I was like, he's got to be here. And man, all that from that day, that conversation is, I don't remember every single detail of those, what was asked and where,
Do you remember how long y'all stood there and just talked about it before you did anything?
I didn't keep time of it, but it seemed like a good 5 to 10 minutes, trying to figure out where he could have gone.
Was there any panic or any type of high energy, or anybody trying to do something really quick, or what was the mood of everybody at that time?
At that time, I didn't notice anybody panicking. I started to, get worried, because I was worried that, I hope something didn't happen to him, that where he had like a heart attack or something. But I do know after I asked her if the CPAP machine was still here, and she said, I haven't checked. I said, well, let me go down and check. And I went down to the basement and checked to see if the CPAP machine was there, and it was still sitting beside his bed. I think also before I went down, we discussed about if he could have gone, shooting with a client, either skeet shooting or bird hunting.
Did he do that a lot?
He would do that at, not a lot, but at least, once or twice a year.
When it comes to your dad just leaving, going somewhere, not really telling anybody, in the last 6 months, how many times do you think he had done that? Up to the 6 months before this?
Leave and not tell anybody?
Right.
Well, he always told me, especially if Melody wasn't there, if she's gone up in Tennessee, he would, let me know, hey, I'm going to be coming home late, or, I got, this work event or something like that.
How many times in the previous 6 months up to this day did your dad go somewhere like that? I'm trying to get a feel for how many times he would just go somewhere and not be at the house.
I really don't remember, because he didn't leave. He didn't do stuff like that much. He literally went to work all the time and came home every single day. So it wasn't often that he did that.
Would it be less than 5, less than 10, less than 20?
Less than 5 times, if anything.
And how long would he be gone if he did leave?
I know occasionally he went to go, see his mother, who was in a assisted living or nursing home type deal.
When he left, would he take an Uber?
No, he always drove his own vehicle.
So his vehicle would be with him if he left?
Yes.
Did he exclusively drive that Mercedes and not the Toyota or anything like that?
No, the Mercedes was his vehicle.
And when he left, would he take a CPAP machine?
If he was going to be gone overnight, yes, he would have taken a CPAP.
The one that was beside the bed, that would be missing?
Yes, sir.
Did you ask your mom when the last time she had seen your dad, when you're sitting there on the porch talking?
I believe I did.
Do you remember when she said last time she saw him?
I want to say she would have said on the 3rd.
On the 3rd. Did you ask her whether or not he had come and got something to eat, or she made food for him, or anything like that?
Like I said, I don't remember every single detail of that, but, that probably I would have asked that question, because my dad texts me all the time about getting food.
See whether or not your dad had gone one of the previous nights to go get something to eat from somewhere or anything like that?
I don't remember anything of that.
At some point, your dad's wallet appeared. Is that right?
Yes.
And that, to you, was that odd?
So I know prior to that, my dad would never leave the house, without his wallet. So I think I asked, at some point, it's like, well, have you seen his wallet? Because it's like a process of elimination. I think the first thing anybody would ask is, well, is the wallet still here? And then she said, no, I haven't seen it. There was only one place my dad ever would have left his wallet.
Where's that?
And that would have been on the dresser in the master bedroom. Because he still used the master bedroom. He slept downstairs, but, he showered and changed and everything upstairs in the master bathroom.
Did the defendant ever have his wallet on this day?
So I remember her asking if she'd seen his wallet. She said no and all. And then, I started asking about like the CPAP machine, and then I said, I'll go check, see if that's down there. I'll see if the shotgun he would have used to go bird hunting or skeet shooting is, down there, because it was both in the same room. And just, I found it odd that she didn't ask, she didn't go check to see if the CPAP machine was there.
Do you remember whether or not she said do you remember whether or not she brought the wallet or had the wallet at all?
So I remember after going down and checking on that, I came back up and she had his wallet in his hand. And I said, where'd you find that? And she said it was in his console of his Mercedes. And that really struck me odd, because my dad never left his wallet in the Mercedes.
Why is that?
Because he just always had it in his pocket. He never, it was a habit of him. He never left it. I have a habit of leaving mine, but he never did.
Your dad's wallet, this one, what we're talking about? His wallet.
Yes, sir, that's it.
So it would be either on him or where again?
It would have been on the dresser in the bedroom, right next to the door that leads into the master bathroom.
Was it common for your dad to let your mom have the wallet?
I mean, he would never hand it to her, but he didn't, lock it up and secure it.
Talking about the two cell phones of your mom, did you tell law enforcement about the two cell phones?
Yes.
Did your mom ever mention anything to you about the cell phone was Sherry's cell phone?
I do not ever remember that, no.
Tell the jury, all right, you're on the front porch, this is going on. Do you ever get kind of perturbed or upset with your mom or ask her why she hasn't done certain things? Did y'all start talking about, what have you done or why have you done these things?
I mean, I probably would have, said when I asked about the CPAP machine, I go, why wouldn't you go check that? I mean, that's a big thing. If he was going to be gone overnight, he's going to be taking that.
Where all did you go look again? Where'd you start looking? Where'd you go from there? Let's start in the house. Where all in the house did you go?
I believe I went into first the master bedroom to check to see if his wallet was there, and then I think I left from there and went down to the basement and checked for his CPAP machine and see if the shotgun was sitting in the closet.
Did you see any signs of him or anything in the house?
No, sir.
Did anybody start helping you look for your father?
Once, I know Chris arrived at some point. I don't really remember when he did, but after going down into the basement and checking that stuff, I came back up and said, yeah, everything's still down there. I said, I'll go over here, I'll go back up to the barn and check around there. So I started searching the property because, like I said, at this point I was worried that, he would have gone out and, had a heart attack or something or fell down, something like that, medical-wise.
Do you know where your mom and Amanda, your sister, what they were doing while you were looking for your dad?
I just know they were together pretty much the whole entire time.
Did anybody get on the RTV and start running around looking for him?
I know I jumped on it to ride back up to the barn to check, see if he might have been up around there. And, once I checked up around the house and all, I noticed the tractor was parked not where we would have parked it for, overnight. And I actually went down and checked around there because I saw the tractor sitting there and it was right at the manure pile. And so I checked around the manure pile to make sure he wasn't laying down around that.
You see on your screen there, Stewart 12, this is a photograph already been admitted. Is this where you found the tractor?
Yes, sir, it was.
Now, the manure pile, you're talking about this pile right in front of it?
Yes, sir.
Was there anything, was that odd that the tractor was parked there?
Yeah, because it never would have been really left there. The only time we would have brought it down there is to churn over the manure pile because it was, compost.
Not, you mean turn it over, not just push the pile, but actually turn it over?
You mean we'll go scoop it, kind of toss in a salad.
But not leave, you wouldn't leave the tractor right there? Would your dad leave the tractor right there?
No.
Would the tractor be parked where I'm pointing up here?
Yes, right behind that blue wheelbarrow.
After you saw the tractor and you were down the barn, where did you go?
So I've continued to, search around there. Didn't see him there or inside the barn. So I hopped back on the RTV and went back around to the house. And once again, I still don't remember if Chris was there or not. And I really don't remember where Amanda and Melody were standing at that moment. But I just started searching, around the other shed where the chicken coop was, looked in the shed, make sure he wasn't in there. I was just, starting my process of checking the property.
How much of the property do you think everyone covered looking for your dad?
I mean, I believe every, square foot of the property was covered.
Did you check the front property too, the fields and pastures and things like that, or where all did you go?
I mean, yeah, I'll look. I mean, it's all wide open, so there's no grass. I always had the grass cut at that time, so it wasn't tall. So if he was laying in the pasture, I would have been able to see him.
When your dad was making the burn pile or stacking it or working on it, where would the RTV usually be if he was out there doing something like that?
Within, 5 to 10 feet of that burn pile.
And where would your dad normally park the RTV in relation to his where he would stay in the basement?
So if he went to his office, it would have been, kind of parked right up there next to the house, or he'd just hop off and only take a few steps to get into his office.
Do you remember your mom saying anything about whether or not she moved the RTV?
No, I don't really remember.
Did you find anything odd about the RTV or anything like that? Or
No, not with the RTV. I mean, like I said, I saw it parked in the driveway when I got there, and that was, one indication. I was like, well, he's got to be here.
talking about your tractor, is it difficult to drive that?
Absolutely not.
How do you make the tractor go forward, and how do you make it go backwards?
So that tractor right there, one of the reasons why my dad wanted to purchase that is because it was so easy to drive. You didn't have to shift gears or anything like that. So the pedal on it is like a C. So you would hit on the top part of it and it will go forward, and you hit on the bottom part of it and it will go in reverse.
This is Shaw 259. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Tell the jury how it worked. If you put your foot on that pedal there on the right, there, top, kind of middle of the photograph, how would that work?
So you can see the bigger, foot pedal right there.
Yes.
Yes, that's where you would push, and the tractor will go forward.
And if you want to go backwards,
You hit on that section.
you don't have to change gears or anything like that, or have two transmissions or anything.
No.
Did you know if your mom could drive the tractor?
Oh yeah, she definitely knew how to use it. She was using it just a couple days prior to the 3rd.
In relation to the burn pile where you've marked, did you ever go up that area and look at the trail camera or anything like that?
Yeah, so actually it was Melody who asked me when we were, I don't remember exactly when, but it was still, we were either back on the front porch, but she asked me, she asked if I still had that trail camera down there. I was like, oh yeah, let me, I'll go check it. So I don't remember if I hopped on the RTV or I walked down there, but I went down there and checked the trail camera and saw no indication of my dad being on it.
What'd you do with the trail camera while you were there?
I checked whatever pictures were on it. I know there might have been a couple of animals. I want to say I saw a picture of Amanda and Melody walking, but it was mainly animals, but I saw no indication of my dad walking by or anybody who didn't, was in my family.
Did you see anything suspicious on it?
No.
Did you delete the things off the camera?
I did, because it's just, natural habit. This, like I said, this is prior to us discovering my dad's remains. So every single time I ever went to go check my trail camera, I always delete, just kind of free up the SD card, because I use it for deer hunting, and if I have a doe walking by, I'm not gonna want to save it. I want to save whatever bucks.
And the camera again was pointing down into the woods away from the burn pile?
Yes, it was pointing towards my neighbor's property.
How long, we'll ask you about finding your father's remains, how long do you think you were looking before you went to the burn pile? Did y'all walk by before? Did you get close to it before? Or?
Well, I had to go by it to go down there and check the trail camera. I didn't even think to look at the fire. Didn't even cross my mind. And I know I came back up and let them know there was nothing on it. And then I said, well, I'm going to go and check on the other side of the pond, walk across the dam and go check down over there on that side of the property. Because it was rare if he did it, but he did it every once in a while. He would go on that section of the property because it was a little tight to drive the RTV down there.
Now this is Shaw 2 here, and this is the burn pile we're talking about.
Yes.
At some point, ultimately, you did find the remains of your father, is that right?
Yes. How I found it, like I said, I was going to check the other side of the pond on, across the dam. And I started walking that way, and I believe I got either halfway across the dam or got to the other side, and then Melody called me. And she called me and asked, have you thrown a dead goat on the burn pile? I'm like, no, we haven't had anything to die, and also I wouldn't throw it on the burn pile. And she said, well, come up here and look at this. So I was like, okay. Well, I turned around and started walking, and I see Amanda walking. She was almost kind of like right in front of my dad's office, coming from the burn pile area, walking back up towards the driveway. She was walking there, and Melody was standing over near the burn pile. And I walk up and look, and I can already start seeing bones. And then I look down, and it appeared to me that it was the inside of a skull. The backside was gone, and you could see like the little blood vessels, I think it was, but it didn't look like a rock or something. So I grabbed a very, very small corner of it, and I lifted it up just enough to where I saw teeth and the eye socket, and I immediately put it right back. And I was crouched down, and she was standing right there next to me, and I raise up, I put my hand on, across her chest and push her back and go, these are human remains. I am calling 911 right now. Nobody's allowed down here. And at that same time, that's when I noticed Chris was there, and he was coming around the back side of the house with the girls on the RTV, and I walked right up to him and I said, get those girls out of here right now. I'm calling 911. And I pretty much, my brother would have argued or, with me on anything like that. And I believe just the look on my face and everything, he didn't second question me. He's like, okay. And he turned around and pulled off with the girls, and I called 911.
When you called 911, do you even remember what you said to them?
I believe that, they called and they asked, did the normal routine, and said, hey, I was like, it was along the lines of, we've been searching for my dad, and after searching, we came across some remains in a burn pile. And I said, I was deployed to Iraq. I've seen bodies burned up. And it's like, this definitely looks like a burned up body. We need somebody out here now.
Were you thinking it was your dad?
Pretty much by that point, yeah, because there was nobody else who it could have been, and my dad was missing. I mean, my dad didn't have any enemies. There was nobody who, we never really had strangers walking across our property. Never once did I've ever catch anybody on our property. So it was, within an instant, I knew that this was 99% sure this was my dad.
After you called 911, what'd you do?
I remember I got off the phone with them and I walked up to the driveway. I don't remember if I went on the back side of the house or the pond side of the house, but I came back up to the driveway and Amanda was standing there in the driveway. And I walked up to her and said, Amanda, this is not good. She's like, what are you talking about? I go, there's human remains in that burn pile. I've called 911. The police are on their way. But I was like, Amanda, this is not good. And she just kept saying, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And that's all I remember telling her that. And then I don't remember who I let know, but I said, I'm going to go meet, who's ever coming up at the driveway at the road so they know where to exactly come to. And I started to walk up towards the road.
What was Amanda like at this time?
At that time, once I told her about finding the remains, that's when she, was somebody who act like, they just found out something bad happened, especially to a loved one. It was kind of like she was shaking and, like I said, she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And like almost in tears.
What was your mom doing?
As in what?
How was she acting? What was she doing? What'd you see
Never
her do?
saw any kind of emotion out of her.
Did you see
She
what
didn't get
did?
angry with anybody, and she showed no. I didn't notice any of her freaking out or anything like that. The only time that I saw her actually try to kind of show some emotion is after the deputy and the paramedic came back up from the burn pile to say, yes, those are human remains. And then just the way that she started acting, I've seen my mother cry. I mean, hundreds of times throughout my life and all. And it appeared to me to be fake. Like, this wasn't her emotion. Her reaction to finding out her, mom had a heart attack and her dad dying and, anything bad happened like that, it was a complete different reaction to what she reacted to when the paramedic and deputy said, yes, those were human remains.
Up until that point, has she cried or anything?
No.
Did she come up to you and ask you a lot of questions or anything?
When?
After finding the remains and before law enforcement got there, was she asking you questions or saying anything to anybody?
I really don't remember because after, I talked to Amanda, because I was heading in that direction. I knew I was going to meet them at the end of the driveway up at the road. And that's where I saw Amanda, and I let Amanda know. After I let Amanda know, I continued walking down the driveway to go meet either the police or paramedics that were coming. So I walked up to the end of the road, and from there, no, I don't remember her ever talking to me during that time.
At some point, did your feelings change or suspicion arise about something's afoot here?
I knew I felt something was very off. There was red flags prior to finding my dad. Her having his wallet. I remember at one point, she said that she had the credit card that the one my dad gave me and said never, hold on to this like your life depended on it. Because there was a lot of times my dad said, don't ever give her the credit card. And she had it. And I remember asking her, I go, how do you have this? She goes, well, your father gave it to me. And I knew that was a straight up lie. I mean, y'all have seen it in the text messages that he, said for me to hold on to that credit card.
Did you start talking about a gun?
So,
A pistol?
so prior to all this happening, I want to say it was in June. I don't remember, it was like the first week of June or the second week of June. We had an AT&T guy come out and do some work with the satellites and all. There was an issue or something. And Melody was gone. She was in Tennessee. And my dad had to go to work. He sent me a text one morning and said, hey, the guys are coming today. I want you to come over here and I'll show you what's going on. So when they got there, we were working down in the basement. The TV that's in front of the leather chair and all, because right next to it is a closet that actually had the main satellite box, and a lot of those components in there was the home theater components, but the main box for the satellite was in that closet. But he said he needed the remote to the TV in the basement room right there in front of the bar area. So I started searching the drawers because we only use the satellite remote to turn on and off the TV, but he needed the actual TV remote. So I started searching the drawers and the furniture around in that room. First checked under the TV, didn't see it in there, and then I went to, there was a piece of furniture behind the couch, and I opened it and I saw a revolver and a leather holster, and I looked at it and I could tell it was, a 38 special snub nose. I was like, I've never seen that one before, and didn't really think anything of it because, my whole life we've always had guns. So
This was in June of 2018.
yes, this is like either the middle of June or the beginning of June, somewhere in there. So it was just a few weeks prior to my dad's death.
How much of the gun did you see?
I looked at it enough to that I knew roughly what type of gun it was.
Do you know guns?
I'm fairly knowledgeable. Can't name every single gun that's ever been made, but I know the difference between a rifle, a shotgun, and a semi-automatic handgun and a revolver. And
Describe this gun that you saw.
so I definitely remember it being in like a old leather holster. I can't really remember the type of handle, but it wasn't what you call a blue finish, which is that dark black color. It was more of like nickel chrome type look.
Do you remember the handle or anything about it?
No, I don't remember the handle. Like I said, I don't remember the color of the handle.
For the jury, if you were standing outside those, what I call again the American doors, if you're outside looking into where the couches and the ottoman and everything is, where you're dead, or you would hang out and eat dinner.
Okay.
If you walk into the doors, tell the jury where this drawer or this dresser or whatever it is where you found this.
So if I would have had my back to the door, the couch would have been right in front of me, and that piece of furniture would have been right here to my right.
When you found the gun, what did you do with it?
I didn't do anything with it
Did you
because
touch it, pick it up, move it, or just look at it?
I kind of maybe grabbed it enough to kind of like look at it, but I did not pull it out of the drawer because I had the AT&T guy in the basement with me. I didn't want to freak him out. But no, I never really fully picked it up and looked at it. So yeah, that would have been the piece of furniture, the lamp there.
Talking about right here, this is Thrasher 226.
Yes, that was the piece of furniture that I saw it in on the top drawer.
All right, so this is the sliding doors coming in being on the right.
Yes, sir.
When did you start, why did you start thinking about this gun? What made you think about gun, and who did you start telling about this gun?
When?
On the 5th.
On the 5th? So, after, talking with her and, the comments that she's made previously, everything was just, I was getting red flags and all. And when I went down to check on the CPAP machine and the shotgun, after I checked the shotgun, I remember seeing that revolver. So I just wanted to go over and look to see if it was still in that drawer.
So on the 5th, did you go to see if that gun was there?
Yes.
And what happened?
So I went and opened that drawer, and that gun was not there. And closed the drawer back, didn't look anywhere else, and I went back upstairs. And then on my way back upstairs, I noticed a drop of blood on the floor. It was smaller than a dime, and it was, kind of almost right there before you get to the stairway.
Right by the stairs at the
Yes.
corner there?
So I didn't want to bring anything up at that time because this, like I said, this is prior to finding my dad. And, I didn't want to be like, hey, there is a, I went to go see if there was a gun down there and it's not there anymore. But, back when I found it, Melody was gone. My dad was at work, and I just forgot all about it. But for some reason that day when I went to go check to see if the shotgun was there, it reminded me that gun was in that drawer, and just something told me to go just check to see if it was still there.
Did you afterwards on the 5th when law enforcement came? Did you talk to them?
Yes.
Did you tell them about this gun?
Yes.
Did you tell them about the blood?
Yes.
Did you tell them about other things you found unusual?
Yes. Or her behavior and stuff like that. Yes.
And then you talked to law enforcement on July 5th, I believe, at the scene. Is that with
Yes.
Detective Kuykendall in the vehicle?
Yes, I sat in the passenger seat, and I honestly don't remember who all was in the vehicle, but there was somebody in the driver's seat, and then I remember there was either one or two people in the back seat.
And then Detective Hayes is behind me here. At some point the next day, I think you went and talked to him again?
I want to say it was him that night, because...
Yeah, that night into the next day, down at the Freedom Precinct.
Yes, I don't really remember talking to Detective Hayes right there on the property. My memory that I think the first time I remember talking to him was at the Free Home Fire and Police
So
Precinct.
one time on the scene, and then talking to the detective at the precinct.
Yes. There was a lot of police officers and detectives and everybody out there, so I can't say exactly who I talked to at all from my knowledge, but I talked to a lot of different police officers.
Just this time on Tuesday, evidence state's exhibit.
No objection.
There's that two notes now. States 7. So it's S Ferris 7, S Ferris 8, and S Ferris 9.
Right there, Mitch.
Hit you those. Let's start with 9. S Ferris 9. Not 7 or 8. Let's go to 9. On this one here, do you see there's some text message between you and your dad on the cell phones? See
Yes,
that?
I do.
Let's see. Looks like on June 6, 2018, at the first one 109, 12:07 p.m.
Yes.
This is from you to your dad. Can you read what that says?
Okay, so he called, some mix up. He will be there around 2.
And then, okay. Let's see the times. Let's start at 112. So 6/6/2018, 9/18/36. You see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's from you to your dad, and then we're going to go upwards.
Oh, it's,
All right, so let's start.
it
with
looks like it's from my dad to me.
Yeah, to you from your dad, and what is that message?
DirecTV guys coming. Come here and let me show you the ISSR.
All right, then
So, yeah.
from you to your dad, the next one up. What's that say? Starting with, did they?
Did they give you a time frame on when they will be here?
And then going up to the next one, looks like to you from your dad.
Yes, he responded before 12.
And then the last one there.
He called and some mix up. He will be there around 2.
And you thought it was AT&T. Could it have been DirecTV?
I believe AT&T and DirecTV are the
But this
same
is what you're
company.
talking about.
Yeah,
when you-
this is what I'm talking about. It was to do with the satellite. So DirecTV is satellite.
Right, this is Farris 7. This is something we've pulled in the case. Can you see the date time here at the top? Can you just tell us what that is?
2018, June 5th, time is 12:48.
And then the message contents, just read that for us if you would. He would reply yes.
Reply yes to confirm your DirecTV appointment at 6/6, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Reply no to reschedule. To stop receiving this message, reply stop.
Then Farris 8, this is a June 6, 2018 text from them. And the message contents, what does that say? You can just read
Hello,
that.
we recently completed the DirecTV visit. If you're experiencing service issues, please reply or call 678-971-2219 to guarantee tech within 24 hours.
Were you running around repeatedly saying there's lots of blood down there, there's lots of blood down there, or anything like that?
I never once said that.
I want to juxtapose two points on June 5th and June 6th. So one is when you're at the scene and you're talking to law enforcement, and then June 5th going into June 6th at the Free Home Precinct when you talk to law enforcement.
You mean July?
Yes, excuse me, I'm sorry. July 5th and July 6th. The two positions I want to talk about is when you're at the scene and then you're down at the precinct, at what point did you learn that there was actually a bullet was found in your father's rib?
So we were there very, very late at night. I know it was probably close to 11, midnight or so. And they kept us in a kind of a conference room. And they brought us one by one back into another room individually. I don't remember who they brought back first and all, but by the time they brought me back, I believe it was Detective Hayes that was there with me. I don't really remember the details of what all was discussed at first, and then I was informed that they discovered a bullet lodged in the rib bone.
Do you remember Detective Hayes saying, "I've got something I got to tell you"? You remember how he broached that or told you about it?
I don't remember his exact words on how he did that because, you know, once I was told that that was happening, that happened, my mind just went into kind of shock, I'll say.
At that point, did you suspect your mom?
Definitely.
Was she there with you at the precinct?
She was there in the room that we were all kept in at.
Who else was there?
Amanda was there. Possibly Chad, Bruce. I don't remember if Chris and Emily were there.
After you were told that, did you go out and talk to others about what you were told?
That night,
And did the other family members, were they told about the bullet?
I don't remember discussing that with them, after I came back out of the room.
What did you ask your mom anything when you left?
I really don't remember if I did or not.
Afterwards, after July 6th, you couldn't go back to the property?
No, so, they informed us for us to go up to that precinct, and we were all, able to drive up there. We didn't have to ride in any squad cars or anything like that, but they did inform us that we were not allowed to go back to the property. So, from what I remember, Melody went and stayed with Amanda, and once we were fully released for the night, I left and went back up to the lake house because Ted was there and some other friends. So I knew I had somewhere to go to sleep that night.
Afterwards, was there a splitting of the family afterwards? Like some went one way and the others went the other way.
Oh yeah, once we found out that there was a bullet found in the rib bone, that obviously he's been shot and then burned, and we all put the pieces together because my dad had no enemies. I never once met anybody in my entire life that hated my dad. So we knew somebody, wouldn't have come there. The house wasn't wrecked. There was nothing. Everything was adding up to us that it wasn't a robbery, and it wasn't anything like that. And, her history of, having affairs and doing all this shady stuff that she's done, and especially her making the comment, "I can't wait for the day he's dead and I don't have to live with him anymore."
Did Amanda support your mom or support y'all?
So I remember for several weeks, it seemed like, Amanda kept saying, "Well, he just had a heart attack and fell in the fire." And I was like, "Amanda, how could he have had a heart attack and fell in the fire when they found a bullet lodged in his rib bone?" And she's like, "Well, they could be lying to us." I was like, "Okay, well, if he had a heart attack and fell in the fire, why was everything gone from the fire pit?" It's like the RTV would have been there, or the tractor would have been there. There would have been something. There was no indication especially to me, that he would have had a heart attack and fell into the fire.
So Amanda was not convinced?
She was not convinced on
Was she?
him being shot.